Well, if you've been studying Egyptology lately, you've probably seen that there's a lot of finds. In fact, this one that was last year where they found a cache. A lot of this is showing burials and things that are coming into the Roman periods and stuff. And people would really like to see a lot of that, of course, but they want to see stuff of elder times. And one thing that's just been recently found is very exciting because it shows a burial that's in the Valley of the Queens that's been found. And so far, they're giving us somewhat of a tease. And so I apologize, but I'm going to have to give you the same thing. So this is always going to be something like one of those two-parters whenever they find something new. And then they go through it all and clean it up and do the things like that, because what they're showing us so far is really just an entrance and a couple of other photographs that I'll show you here shortly. But this is one of the wall photographs here of the coming into the tomb area that they show, and it's really in bad shape. You probably couldn't make out the hieroglyphics no matter what you did. But they're saying that this and a few other things that they found show it to be somebody that was in the Theban court around the time of the 18th dynasty, like we know of King Tut and Akhenaten and the things of that nature. And this was apparently part of a royal family somewhere during that dynasty. I question that whenever I look at the picture of the sarcophagus forms that are on the left here, because they're standing on the Apep snake, and this appears to be one of the recreation portions of the Book of the Dead. And there are different forms of that sarcophagi that's been shown through time here and everything, but of course that's one of the things that they do flip-flop a little bit on, and whenever they show certain things. So it could actually be from that time, and it's entirely possible. And I'm sure they have a lot more already that they've seen that they're not showing. Now, people quite often, whenever they look at this, they think of the great times of the pyramids. And a lot of people don't know the pyramids were created way back in the 4th dynasty. So even finding things in the 15th, 18th dynasty, 19th dynasty, looking at Ramses again, which we just did recently in a recreation. And things are well down the road from its origins, but this is the part that's famous about it. Here's a recreation showing you that some of the buildings were painted in ancient times and the way they would have looked whenever they were all smoothed off and so on. And I tried to do a video showing this, and I think I found a site that maybe I can go off of and actually roam around in it 3D and show it to you. But whenever I tried to do it before, it got flagged, and I said, well, I'll just put it on hold because I'm going to use that in this part of this video, which I really haven't done yet. Anyhow, most people are familiar with this time that's showing here and all of the accoutrements that go with it, or they think of the 18th dynasty and the great pharaohs that are around there, and Hatshepsut and King Tut and Tai and all those things that go along with that. And this kind of has something to do with it. And what they've put out is, again, a news blitz here on the idea that they found an ancient royal tomb unearthed near Luxor. And they keep referring that Luxor's West Bank, but this is really the Valley of the Queens. And it seems to be something that dates back 3,500 years, and maybe the final resting place of one of the queens and or princesses or princes of the 18th dynasty, because in this area there were a lot of burials. There are some queens there are princes and other things in this burial here, or this burial set that's running through a little valley that's run off of here. And this is not exactly attached into that, but there are a couple other valleys right there near it, and this is known as Valley C. And whenever these academics here from a place of the New Kingdom Research Foundation decided they'd go up there, they just went over on this other ledge and started walking down, and lo and behold, they go, this looks worked. Oh, hold on, there's a thing here, the shaft tomb here. Here we've got something here. Just amazing. It just pops up like that. Makes you think that people ought to get a couple of those drones out and run around over there and see what they can find out, because it looks like that type of technology really shows something. So they put out this bulletin here, and it says the Joint Egyptian English Mission between the Supreme Council of Archaeology and the Foundation for Modern State Research at the University of Cambridge has succeeded in uncovering a never-before-known royal cemetery during the excavations in the Valley Number C of the western region of Luxor. Initial indications unearthed inside the cemetery so far indicate that it probably dates back to the reign of Hamza, or the 18th family era, and which will be confirmed in the coming period until the completion of the cemetery's archaeological document works. So they're kind of putting out a pre here on it, like, hey, found something great. And it's really, you know, some people have made some bad comments about it that I've seen already so far. It says it looks like they're trying to do it kind of in a Disneyland situation where they're peekaboo and, oh, what's behind this now? Ta-da, and here's a new thing. Oh, and it costs you $75 to get in, or something along that line. And I really am just happy that they're actually doing something, and they're doing it to the extent here. You see, they have to get back the tourist situation going on from what had happened years ago here. And so in doing so, they're doing a little extra archaeology and stuff. The thing that it comes out to being, though, is that it doesn't look like they're doing actual depth archaeology work. It's more of things to have flash and pomp about. And I guess that's probably because they talk about them, how they had the procession of the pharaohs and all these type of things, trying to kick it up a notch. And then the kind of falter one that they did on the ancient city that they found, the city of the gold and all that, whenever they had already found that before, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. But they were hoping to get, you know, hey, whenever people come there, they usually go up to Luxor or someplace, or and Cairo, and that's about it. And there are 5 or 6 runs down here that have a lot of good stuff in them, and so people ought to go check those out, so on. But the Egyptian-British mission joining the Supreme Council of Antiquities and the New Kingdom Research Foundation of University of Cambridge succeeded in uncovering a previously unknown royal tomb in the western valley of Luxor. Preliminary evidence uncovered inside the tomb indicates that it may date to Tutmosis' reign, or Tutmoside reign, you know, where they're all Tutmosis. Even Akhenaten was Tutmosis until they changed it over, and then of course Tutankhamun is putting it different whenever. Anyhow, the dating will be confirmed during the coming period, which will see the archaeological documentation of the tomb. So they're playing a little peekaboo here, I guess, and they show you this shaft and this rundown area that runs into it, and it's pretty neat. And here's the way it looks against the wall, really, and they're at, and here's where they are. And they're already, you know, got the Valley of the Queens that's all set up here, and supposedly this is just right up here somewhere, just a little out of range in Valley C's, A, B, C. Is it this one or is it this one? It's one of these two. But there's also a big building right here that they aren't doing, and there's one that's excavated here that I think I'm familiar with the idea of, but these would have been funerary areas for the people up there and so on. A lot of that seems like it goes right up under, right there at the bottom of the screen. I don't think it's showing in here. It turns green and the Nile's just out of screen at the bottom here. But looking at this Valley of the Queens, it's royalty. I think it's neat. It's fantastic. They're showing these type of things, and they're finally getting some stuff done in this area here. And again, most people, whenever they come there, they always go to Cairo and so on. And it's real common. But where this site is way down here at the bend, where they have Luxor and a lot of the other fantastic things here. So it looks like it'll help that out some. But by the way, just past Luxor down here, they have a few places that's real interesting to look at. And in between the two, they have a lot. Quite often they do things like Nile cruises, where they'll stop up and down here. They'll stop here and here on the way up, and here on the way down, and so on too. And a lot of times they go to Luxor and then come back. There's a thickening part of the river. But this is just a preliminary thing, and I'm hoping that you know, more will come out on this soon. But this is kind of the area that it looks like it's from. It's behind the Valley of the Queens. The Valley of Kings is down over here, so it's kind of positioned down in that way. And again, all they're giving us is some shaft pictures here and shaft pictures there. But see, the thing here that I saw about this is, you see way up there high, it looks like there's a cave and a slit entrance into the side of the wall up there. And I wonder if somebody's a pretty good drone driver, if they could fly up in there and take a good look at what's going on up there. You'd probably be amazed if you went around a few of these places and find that, well, they kind of covered it up. But there's a tomb right over here, and there's a tomb over here. In fact, just to the left of this screen, it looks like there's a pile and something that looks like it caved in from above, and they weren't beyond that. That's what saved King Tut's tomb. There might be another tomb right over there that people don't even know about, just like this one here that's showing up, being fairly new. Here's an idea of the way the Valley of the Queens works out here and stuff. And so there's a ring going around here and a ring going around the left of it here, but just out of the bottom of your screen, there's a few princes that are there too, and so on, and all these different sites that come up. And I believe it comes out to something like 79 sites or burials that they have in this right here. They're named right in front of us. I don't know, play dot to dot here, 73, 72, 79. There we go. I don't see one higher than that number. But this one's fixing to add to it. Well, it isn't really going to be considered, I guess, Tombs of the Queens. It'll be something else. And whenever you go to this place, you can probably pay just a little more and go check that out too. It's the new one. So as info comes out on this, I'll end up showing you more. I mean, right now, there's just, you know, this is the way the Valley of the Queens looks in the first place. So the other place really just looks like a dent. And so, man, just like Göbekli Tepe and a lot of these places, makes me what's up under this dent that's here. They show these regular old pictures, but you know, this is during the time they have of Nefertari and Ramses' wife and the incredible tomb that's been shown there. It's kind of the spotlight of the Queen's tombs. And I've done a video where I show where we go down into the thing and check it all out, and it looks incredible. In fact, this period right here is one of the most incredible things. So when you look at that first shot where they're coming in and it's all plaster's all pecked off the wall, that's one thing, which is probably just behind us here. But they say there are two shafts running off of it and a main one, and they're being real ambiguous about it. And they also say, well, it looks like more than one person was buried here by the way it looks compared to all the ones from before. So it's going to be pretty interesting to find out, you know, what goes on here. But there are critics that have already said that the flurry of excavations has prioritized finds shown to grab media attention over hard academic research. And I think both is going on here, but they are really trying to get their tourist industry back going again, because it had faltered for years because of what had happened. And they need that tourist industry. It pretty much runs off of it. And of course, they've got the new museum there and all of these things that they've put up and stuff. So they're trying to kick it up a notch, and finding something like this at the time in question is really a good thing and a boon. And you can't gripe about what gets found where, but I think that we'd all like to see a lot of in-depth research done that's not even being done, and genetic testing and so on that isn't getting done rarely, and so on, just little things coming out rather than going, we're going to do a genetic project here and find out everything. So as this comes out, I'll try to let you know more about it here, because there will be more articles that come out onto it. This is on their little first page, if you will. And as it does, I'll let you know more about it. But an exciting find again here in the start of 2023, where in the Valley of the Queens, there's a pretty good looking tomb starting out here, at least all that they're willing to show us at this point. Let me know what y'all think down below. Peace.